Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. I am Nicole Everett, the host of Conversations with Nicole, and we are here at Nefertari's Fine Cuisine in Tallahassee, Florida. And my very special guest today is Mr. McKinley Wilson. Welcome, McKinley.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Now, you are an all-around student leader.
Yes, ma'am.
Our families know each other because
Yes.
your older brother Earl
Yes, they
and my son Jabari were in school together, but you and I got reacquainted at the MLK Day of Dialogue.
We did.
The earlier part of this year
Yes,
at
yes.
Cascade Park, and you were the
Yes.
one of the panelists.
Yes.
And
yes.
I was so impressed with you.
Yes.
And then found out about all the great and wonderful things that you have been involved with.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about your upbringing and what your future plans are.
Okay, well, I was raised here in Tallahassee. Throughout my childhood, I spent a lot of time up in New York City with my family, in Pennsylvania as well. We got a lot of family up north, but I'm a Florida kid. I was raised in a very loving and very caring and disciplined household. My mother and my father always, instilled in me manners before everything. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. So I was blessed to come from a loving family.
All right.
Yes.
And you recent graduate of
Yes,
James
ma'am.
S. Rickards High School.
The James S. Rickards High School. Yes, ma'am.
And at Rickards, you were the senior class president.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And tell me about what that experience was like for you.
That was a great experience for me. Upon coming to Rickards, I was a newer kid. I transferred there at the second semester of my sophomore year. And that whole experience at Rickards was just great. The administration, the teachers, the students there were all welcoming, and they welcomed me in. It was really like a loving family. So when I got the opportunity to run for a senior class president, it was an honor, and I was excited to get the job. And I had so many new and fresh ideas, and I was just excited to serve my class and my school at large.
Awesome,
so, great experience.
Awesome. And what were you involved in any other activities on campus?
Yes, I was involved. Of course, I played football, things of that nature, but I was also involved with my school's FCA.
What's FCA?
FCA is Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Okay.
Yes, so yeah.
Okay,
pretty
good
good.
deal.
Yes,
Now, your leadership also extended beyond Rickards.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you were also involved with the Omega Lamplighters.
Yes, ma'am.
President.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what was that experience like?
Well, I always tell people every time I get a chance to talk about the Lamplighters, I just get so excited because the Lamplighters truly changed my life.
Really?
Upon entering that program 2 years ago, I was a totally different kid. If you had showed me a vision of myself and where I'd be now, back then I would have looked at you like you were crazy. I would have laughed even.
Really?
Upon entering that program, everything changed for me. Everything changed for the better. It just went up. So the Lamplighters was a great experience, and it taught me so much, about my leadership skills, about being a team player, and just really my role in the community and in this world. So
Good
it was
deal.
great.
All right, I'm going to put a pin in the Lamplighters, but you've also been a part of a group that you founded.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So the group we founded is called the Progressive Business Society. I founded with another amazing youth on my campus by the name of Ariana Chestnut. We got together and we both had this idea that we wanted to come up with a way for students on campus to engage in positive conversation and engage in figuring out who they were and themselves and figuring out what direction they wanted to take their life. So that club that we started at the first semester of school to where it is now, it's amazing.
Okay.
It was a club where we got together like-minded individuals to talk about, the principles of manhood, leadership, civic involvement, community service, things of that nature. So it was a great opportunity to, you know, do positive things and engage in good conversations.
Okay, have you had a lot of students participate in the program?
We have. At our first meeting, we had about, I'd say, 5 or 6 students.
Okay.
Now our membership has grown to 40 members.
Oh, wow.
So on campus, yes.
Tremendous.
Tremendous, yes. And it's been such a great experience, such a positive thing for our campus.
That's great. Now, from what I understand, there's also another organization, the same organization, but another chapter at another school?
Yes, yes. We were fortunate enough to extend our movement and our message. We actually have another chapter at Lincoln High School. The president of that chapter is a guy by the name of Jalen Henry. So we met with the principal at Lincoln, and we got, like-minded individuals, people who were invested in what we were trying to do, and we set that up, and it's just amazing to see how that whole thing grew. You know, just to start off as a small idea between 2 people to something that has grown to, it being on multiple campuses. It's just been great.
That is awesome. I mean,
Yes.
talk about dreaming about something and then believing in it and achieving it. I mean,
Yes.
really putting it into fruition. That's outstanding.
Yes, and it definitely took work. It was not easy. We had to, stay up and write the bylaws, contact mentoring groups, and find volunteer opportunities, and really engage our members. A lot of the members at my school were apprehensive at first. They didn't really understand what it was that we were trying to do. It wasn't perceived as something that was cool per se. But if you stay true to who you are and you believe in your vision and you do the work that it takes to get something done, you can definitely see it come to fruition. So that was great.
Great. So what are some of the requirements for membership?
Okay, so members were required to have at least a 2.8 GPA.
Okay.
You had to be, of course, a member of the school, and you just had to be willing to learn and willing to engage in conversations and willing to work. Another one of the requirements, we had Manhood Mondays. So every first and third Monday of the month, the members of our club were required to dress up in a shirt and tie.
Okay.
So if they were willing to do that, they could be a part of the club, and we accepted everyone with open arms. So,
Nice,
yes.
nice. I like that.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that. All right. So the Links, that was
Yes.
another organization
Yes.
that you were involved in.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience with them.
The Links was amazing. They did a great job of opening my eyes to just cultural awareness and how many opportunities there were to engage in your community and how many opportunities there were to be successful. I got the opportunity to combine with 19 other young men who were, on the same track that I were, chasing this dream of success and chasing this dream to be productive citizens. So that was a good experience too, just to be around those like-minded individuals.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I had the great opportunity of attending the Links Botillion,
Yes, yes.
and you won some major awards, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
And
was
not to
blessed with
brag
that
on
opportunity.
yourself, but
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so tell me about the award that you won.
Well, the first award I won, we split it up into categories, first, second, and third, and I was fortunate enough to win the first place leadership award. Just based off of your leadership criteria, the things that you've done, organizations that you've been involved in, and also I won the Best All-Around Bow Award. It's an award that each bow vote on towards the end of the program. So yeah, I was very blessed to win that, and I was very thankful of my fellow bows for voting me to that accomplishment. So,
Indeed. How
Yes,
wonderful to be recognized by your peers
Yes, yes.
as the best bow.
yes, it was
Yeah.
a humbling experience. I was
Okay.
so thankful.
Good deal. Now, did I miss any leadership, roles that you played? I think that's everything. But if I missed something, let me know.
Oh, well, actually, I was elected as co-president of the YES Summit, the Youth Empowerment Summit put on by Delta Sigma Theta sorority every year, and that was also an amazing experience. We got an opportunity to engage all the youth in the community, and you name it, civic involvement, college readiness, financial literacy. That was just a great event that the Deltas put on every year, and I was so thankful and so happy to be a part of that. That was a pretty big event for the city, and it's an annual thing, so that was great too.
Good
Yes,
deal.
ma'am.
Good deal. Well, whew. I'm just
Yes,
tired
ma'am.
just thinking about all the stuff you've
Yes,
done.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But I'm glad that you have had
Yes.
those great opportunities.
Yes, it's
and
been a journey. I'm so thankful.
Good,
I'm
good,
so
good.
thankful.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
we're going to take a break right here.
Okay.
But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about McKinley Wilson.
All right.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned for more conversations. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, I am talking to McKinley Wilson, a student leader, an all-around great guy here in Tallahassee, Florida. So McKinley, before the break, you were telling me about some of your leadership experiences with the various organizations here in Tallahassee.
Yes.
Now, I told you I was going to put a pin in Omega Lamplighters because I wanted to go back to you all going to visit Trayvon Martin's parents and family down in South Florida and participating in their peace walk.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
That was a great experience. That was such an eye-opening experience for me and the whole entire Omega Lamplighters. To get the opportunity to go down there, it's not an opportunity that most youth get, you know. And I was so honored to be a part of that and to just meet Trayvon's parents and Miss Sybrina Fulton, his mother. She was such an amazing person, so funny and so charismatic and just so nice, you know.
Okay.
That whole experience was amazing.
Now, didn't you all make Trayvon an honorary lamplighter?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Talk about that a little bit.
So upon Trayvon's birthday, we recorded a video, you know, just to honor the life and legacy of him and his family. And yes, we did induct him as an honorary lamplighter. And even before that, we've participated in the I Am Trayvon, You Are Trayvon movement put on by the Trayvon Martin Foundation. We wear these pins and bracelets everywhere we go. You can see.
Wow.
I am Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
You are Trayvon Martin.
Nice.
And that's just a movement that we've been fortunate enough and eager to participate in. So inducting him as an honorary lamplighter was something that we definitely felt was necessary and something that we were honored to be able to do.
Wonderful, outstanding. Yes. What a great tribute.
Yes.
Now, that kind of just lends itself as a good segue to my next question, which is about being a young black male in America and the racial tension around that. Do you feel that, and how do you manage that? Oh,
of course. I've always felt it, and I don't really feel like I'm ever gonna stop feeling it. My mother, we had a conversation not too long ago. No matter how many suits you wear, no matter how clean cut and well groomed you are still always gonna be a large black male in America. And you have to remember that, and you have to carry yourself as such. You know, you don't have to walk on eggshells or be afraid, but just be cognizant of that. You know, when you're interacting with people of an opposite race, or even when you're interacting with officers, be mindful of that. Be aware that there is a target on your back, and remember, you are perceived differently, and you will be looked at differently, and you just got to be careful. It's a shame that we have to say that, but that's just a fact of the matter. So
that is. Well, hopefully, you know, with what you're doing or have been doing in the community, and I'm sure will continue to do as you matriculate to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in the fall, you will continue to make a difference in the community. Yes.
I will definitely try my best. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
All right, very good. Now, you know, you've been a student leader, but I'm curious as to what you feel like is the biggest challenge that teens are facing today.
Well, if it was up to me, I have this conversation with my peers all the time. You know, my generation, there's a lot of great things about us, but there are also many setbacks. And the biggest thing in my eyes is this sense of instant gratification that we have. You know, people in my generation, they tend to want to be put at the top or put in the front from the beginning. And that's not how it works. You know, you have to put the time in, you have to actually do the work and apply yourself and steadily move up, steadily progress. You know, you don't start the race in first place. Sometimes you're going to start in the back. You got to put in the work to get to where you want to be. You know, in this era of social media and high-speed internet, people, they want it to happen just like that, but that's not how it works. So that's a conversation that I've had multiple times, and you know, working on with my peers.
Y'all, I love him.
I love you too.
That's great, McKinley.
Yes,
I'm glad to hear you say that, because that is something that I think just as young people, not just your generation, but you know, I think it's happened in all generations. Young people want things to happen very quickly, and there are dues that have to be paid. You do have to put in the work. So,
and I mean, I tell them all the time, like, take advantage of, you know, the wisdom and the experience that you're around. Learn from people that are older than you. One thing my grandmother told me: go in there, can't tell, been there, nothing. You know? So learn from the people
Wait a minute. You got to say that again.
Hey, go in there, can't tell, been there, nothing. Okay. Learn from the people who've been where you are, where you're trying to go, and get it that way.
I love it.
Yes,
I love
ma'am.
it. Okay, very good. Now we are here at Nefertari's,
Yes, ma'am.
so we got to talk
Beautiful
about
restaurant.
food.
Okay.
We got to talk about food.
Let's do it. I love food.
Okay,
Let's do
so
it.
what's your favorite, either type of food or favorite dish?
Oh, I love pasta.
Pasta.
I love pasta.
Okay.
Shrimp linguine, chicken Alfredo, everything.
As long as it's got some pasta in it.
Spaghetti, all that. Noodles and sauce. And some
Noodles
meat.
and sauce
Need
and some meat.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
All right.
Yes.
Good deal. And if you could describe your life as a flavor or a spice, what would it be?
If I could describe my life as flavor, I would definitely say tangy.
Tangy.
You know, tangy is one of those interesting flavors. You know, you get a little bit of everything. You get
Okay.
a little zest here, you get a little sweet here. You know, you put it with the right combination of sauces or the right entree, and you never know what you might get. So that's how I like to look at my life. And
Okay.
yeah,
Tangy.
tangy.
McKinley.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good.
Yes.
Now, what are you passionate about?
Oh man, that's such a broad question.
Okay.
We're not gonna narrow that
Well,
down.
give
I'm
me like 3 things you're passionate
about so many things. I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about my HBCUs. I love my HBCUs. I'm a big advocate for historically black colleges and universities. Also, I'm passionate about motivation and inspiration. I love to inspire others, you know. I love to hear about other people's hopes and dreams and their goals and help them get to where they want to be, you know. That's something I've always been passionate about. I always say, in every medium of life, it's your job to lead, inspire, and motivate. You know, so that's what I try to live my life by that, and I try to take that everywhere I go.
Outstanding,
Yes, ma'am.
outstanding. Now, I know that FAMU is in your future.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what are you planning to major in?
I plan on majoring in business administration.
Okay.
So, yes, ma'am.
Now, do you see yourself as an entrepreneur in the future?
Possibly.
Okay.
I have so many things I want to do, so many different fields I want to have my hands in, but inevitably I know I want to help people, you know, and right now I'm figuring out what the best avenue is to take to get to that, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's political office, anything. I know I want to help people and make a difference in my community and whatever environment I'm in at the time. So.
Okay. Are there any organizations on campus that you hope to get involved in once you get
Well,
there?
I want to get to campus first.
Okay,
You know?
all
I
right.
want to get to campus first. You know, I want to get in and really just focus on my academics and focus on, you know, my impact and, you know, my influence. And because one of the big things about leadership, you can't lead anyone else unless you're leading yourself first. You know, so definitely want to make sure I've laid a good foundation for myself and then go on from there. So.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited.
Now, if you could give some leadership tips to the youth today, what would that be? What would those tips be?
Well, my big thing, one thing I've always done throughout my leadership is I lead from the middle. You know, a lot of people think that leaders lead from the front. Leaders don't lead from the front. They don't lead from the back. They lead from the middle. Leading from the middle and being in the middle gives you a certain level of perspective. You know, you can see where you're going, where you're taking your team, but you can also look behind you to make sure no one else is getting left behind. You know, leading from the middle gives you a great prowess, a great scope of everything that's going on. You got to know your team members, you know who's on your team, know their strengths and weaknesses, and know yourself, honestly. And that's the most efficient way to lead, in my opinion.
All right, love it. Well, we're going to take a break right here.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
Stay tuned for more conversation. Greetings. On today's CWN Medical Moment, we are talking with Dr. Karen Russell about colon cancer. Welcome, Dr. Russell.
Thank you for having me.
So is colon cancer genetic or is it sporadic?
Most of the time it's sporadic. I mean, the greatest risk is us just getting older, having to divide more cells, and sometimes we make mistakes. There's a distinct population, usually if you have a family member who's had it, there's some syndromes that you can have it early. We've certainly had some patients in their 20s here in those families, and so there are heightened screening for those populations.
Okay.
But most of us just get it as we get older.
And when does screening typically occur?
Screening has changed. That's a really good point. We, for years and years, and still most of the professional societies recommend age 50 to start looking. As of last year, the American Cancer Society suggested for all of the average risk, the sporadic screening, we should start at 45 instead of 50.
Okay.
Reason why is the incidence of colon cancer is increasing every year by about 1% in those under 55. So if we start at 45, hopefully we're catching that 50 to 55 cancer risk.
Absolutely. Now, are there populations that have more of a propensity to, get colon cancer?
Absolutely. There's a slight higher risk in men, and so that's important. And actually, African Americans have a higher risk, followed by Native Americans, and so both incidence and death. So there's a lot of people looking at disparities and how we can get that screening to all populations in an appropriate way.
Absolutely. Now, what are the treatments for colon cancer?
So the best treatment is preventing it.
Yes.
Absolutely, because we have so many useful screening tools, and any combination of them that we can get someone to do can find colon cancers and get them before they're invasive.
Okay.
Certainly, I give chemotherapy, which nobody wants to meet me, though. This is the Cancer Center.
This is
it's
the Cancer Center.
Wonderful.
It is.
But if you need chemotherapy or radiation, occasionally we'll use for colon cancer, usually for rectal cancer, things have gone too far. Even if we do have patients who it gets away, we can still cure them in a lot of cases, which people don't realize, but it certainly involves a lot more work than doing appropriate screening and prevention.
Okay, and prevention measures?
So the biggest gold standard that we've had for years is the colonoscopy. Problem is, people run away from colonoscopies because, they're worried about people looking at their butt and, but, there's that book, Everyone Poops. This is true. And the colonoscopy is great because it can visualize a problem, and then if there are early potential polyps that can grow into cancers over our lifetime, usually in the sporadic population, they can get rid of them right there.
Okay.
The problem is it's a bowel prep, it's a little bit of sedation, and it's expensive. And so while it is the gold standard, it's been something that's been hard to reach and frightening for a lot of people. And so there are now better tests you can do at home. Your doctor can give you something called a FIT test, which is a fecal immunohistochemical test. So it is a fancier, better way to find blood in your stool. And so literally you can put a little probe in your sample, box it up, and mail it off.
Right.
And so particularly for that 45 population, that's a very cost-effective way to screen. And if there is blood, the interesting thing about that test is we know it's blood from the colon and down, not from your stomach or above, which was one of the problems.
Gotcha.
You don't have to change what you eat. They've made it so easy. And so a lot of folks in that early population, 40 to 50, are using that as a screening tool. You don't have to do a bowel prep either. It's cheap. And if that's positive, then definitely colonoscopy.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Stay tuned for more conversations. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. As you can see, our dessert is here. So it's about time to close out this conversation. But before we go, I want you to tell the folks how they can get in contact with Omega Lamplighters.
Well, we actually have a few social media platforms. You can contact us at Omega Lamplighters on Facebook and Lamplighters850 on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also reach us at OmegaLamplighters.org.
Okay.
Or you can contact Director Royal King directly. So,
All right,
yes,
very
ma'am.
good,
Yes, ma'am.
very good. Well, thank you for spending some time with me today. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All
Thank
the
you.
best as you
Yes.
matriculate to
Yes, ma'am.
FAMU.
Yes, go Rattlers.
Go Rattlers. All right,
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
and thank you for joining us on Conversations with Nicole, where we're connecting the community through conversations. All right, let's eat this cheesecake.
Let's do it.
Talk about the issues of the world.